All right, everyone seems to be coming now. I think it's one of those people are probably all back to back today. Francis, several other folks did accept the meeting invite, so let's give it a couple more minutes.
Okay, thanks. It gives me a chance to read everything quickly too. I just saw Julia's email.
Hey, Bettina, do you ever get word from Jag? I know it says she accepted, but I'm just looking for voting members. Now that Aaron's here, everyone except for Jag, who said they could come, is here. Oh, Jag, she answered my question. Francis, as soon as you see Jag in the room, I think we can get started.
It would help if I unmute before I say okay, but okay. I don't see her as connected yet. There we go. Okay, so where are we? So we have an updated version that included the discussion that we had last time, and you would have gotten that with the meeting invite, and it's also up on the Senate webpage. So we need to go over those changes to make sure we've captured it as we discussed. And then I saw Julia's email came in, which I just read, and makes some very good points. So we should talk and potentially include those.
Francis, really quick, we have a version that we just prepared in preparation with Julia's changes incorporated if we want to show the group that one.
I think that would be helpful.
Bettina, could you share that?
Thank you. Okay, so again, like last time, we're trying to do a fine read so that we have a stable final version. We're not voting yet, is that correct? Because an emergency has not been declared.
No, Francis, emergency has been declared.
Has it been declared?
Yes.
Okay, so there's an official declaration. Okay, so
Yes.
we are supposed to vote on our final recommendations. So the goal for today then is to review these final comments and vote as we are required to do now that an emergency has been declared, right? Okay, good. Thank you also for those who've done close reads before. So Aaron, last time, thank you for the close reads and the change that came. And also thank you, Julia, for your close read and comments. So the first batch of these changes we did last time. Are there any further comments on the changes we made last time or further thoughts that we haven't discussed, or should we go straight to Julia's suggestions? Feel free to jump in anytime, anybody. I think you've done as many close reads on this as you can, like I have. Now let's go down to the points that Julia was making. So this is page 2, top paragraph, capitalizing banner. Yes, okay. Page 2, second paragraph. In addition to noting that emergency grades may impact courses that fulfill prereqs with required particular grades, so including courses that fulfill degree requirements. Yes, a good point. So we have the language, again, reminding everybody that if emergency grades are used, then the language on what the grades are affects whether or not they would then count as prereqs for courses that aren't prereq is pass the course, but the prereq involves getting a certain letter grade. But the same thing's also true for degree requirements for majors that have a grade associated with a particular course as a requirement. And again, as we talked about last time, the decision to accept or not accept a particular course as counting for requirement resides at the level of the department or program. So it is reminding departments and programs to be mindful of this issue if there are emergency grades, but also be aware that they are allowed to accept them, right? That's within their purview to say, we're going to accept a pass or a that we don't have a particular letter grade associated with an emergency grade. We're going to accept that as a requirement and realize what the impact is if they don't want to do that or don't think they should do that based on their program, that students may then be required to retake the course in order to get a letter grade. Did I summarize that right? Yes, thank you. So that's what we're trying to capture with this language. So we now have right, then emergency grades would be issued for those courses. Okay, for these courses that are prerequisites for other courses, maybe we should say for these courses with emergency grades, because not all courses would have emergency grades. I'm trying to be pedantic so there's no misunderstanding.
Well, these references the previous sentence, but
yes, it does. But and I am being pedantic. My apologies. I just want to make sure there's no misunderstandings. So if you don't think it's necessary, I won't push it, but I was just trying to be very careful about what these refers to. So if we just said for courses with emergency grades that are prereqs for other courses that require a particular minimum grade, I think that would help, having also experience with sometimes chunks of policies get cut and pasted without their previous sentences. Are you able to edit, Bettina? Do you own the file?
Okay, so where do you want me to edit?
Okay, so we're in the start of that red line part of the paragraph which says for these courses. Change it to for courses with emergency grades. Right, that, and let's see if that reads correctly now, right? So that are prerequisites for other courses which require a particular minimum grade. Departments would determine whether a course with an emergency grade can count as a prerequisite or that prerequisite. It doesn't matter.
Oops. Sorry.
That's okay.
So I think that is a little bit better. I mean, I assume people are going to read this in the ways intended, but to put
Yes.
that is good.
Okay, please change A to that, right where your cursor is. That, yes. For courses that fulfill, okay, can we do the same thing again? So for courses with emergency grades, that fulfill degree requirements, which require a particular minimum grade, departments would determine whether a course with an emergency grade can count as fulfilling the requirement. Yes, sufficiently pedantic. Departments should realize that if those courses do not count as prerequisites or as degree requirements, students may have to retake those courses. How about departments should realize that if courses with emergency grades
That
do
first part, the first part of that section, for these courses with emergency grades that are prerequisites for other courses which require, I don't know if that's a sentence fragment or just needs to be cleaned up.
I think it's just a clause with a comma, and then it's the noun and verb is the departments determine. So it's a clause leading up to.
So I don't see a comma,
Oh, there's a comma
and it
after
should
minimum
also
grade.
be or for other courses which require a particular minimum grade. I don't know, just for clarity.
Yes,
So wait, you want a comma? Is that what we're saying?
uh,
Or just or,
Or-
yeah. Yeah,
for courses with emergency grades that are prerequisites or. No, it's not or, because it's the
Okay.
idea that you can't get into the next course unless you've got a B in the course beforehand. And so the course beforehand has an emergency grade. So can that student get into the second course? I think that's the intent. Are we not communicating that? So for courses with emergency grades that are prerequisites for other courses.
okay, okay, now I get it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is there
yeah.
a better way that we could say that?
No, I think it was just that little dash in there confused me.
Oh yeah, I think that's a deleted space.
Yeah, okay, I'm fine.
Okay, good. Departments would, okay, so that's it, right? We've done that whole paragraph. Yes. It communicates the right thing. Yes. Hearing no objections. Okay, let's go down to the next one. So this is down to page 4, last paragraph, section on grades. Okay. Right, and so the point was at the possibility that emergency grades may remain and not be replaced by regular grades. Yes.
And I would lean on Ron for this. It seems to or anyone with a working knowledge of the source document about academic continuity, because I think it talks about that if emergency grades are put in use, that then there might be a separate question or decision about whether they would remain or not remain. And I don't
Yeah.
know if it's only if the coursework cannot be completed. There might be other reasons, perhaps.
I think it's only if the course can't be completed, because there was the expectation that it would be patchwork as well, right? Some courses could be completed, but others couldn't. Ron, do you remember, or should we look at the continuity plan or the grades policy?
I can look right now if y'all want to keep editing.
No, I don't want to keep editing, but I guess I have to. Yeah, so it is true that if an emergency grade is put in place and there is no way to update that emergency grade because there's no way to complete the course, then the emergency grade stays. I sort of feel like I should reference back to departments need to pay attention to that if certain courses cannot get grades. But that's the part that we were just doing beforehand. So I think
it
yeah.
says that emergency, let's see, where did it go?
I remember talking about this a lot before.
Emergency grades may be temporary or permanent, depending on circumstances.
Well, why don't we copy that sentence in? Right, that makes it easiest. That is, because that is true then of temporary grades.
It says that the academic council in consultation with the registrar, financial aid, president, provost, or designees will make that determination at the conclusion of the academic disruption as to whether they are permanent or not.
You mean yet more stuff to do?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it's probably best to take off the if the coursework cannot be completed, because that's setting the condition, if you see what I mean. Whereas the policy itself says they may be permanent or they may be temporary, and it's going to be part of that discussion.
Yeah, you could replace that clause with depending on circumstances.
Depending on circumstances, yes. That sounds good. Then we're within the academic policy. I mean, the academic continuity policy or the emergency grade policy or policy. Okay, that looks good. Does that look good? Yeah, good. Thumbs up. Okay, and was there anything else?
I think that was all of them.
Is that all of them?
Those are all of mine, Francis. Thanks.
Okay, yep. And what we had in there before was everything that we got from last week. So with the addition of, at the very top, adding in last week's meeting date, right? That was the, so we need to add in, or we, the royal we, that's Bettina. Please could you add in, so it was January 3rd.
January
There was
3rd,
one
yeah.
November one, wasn't there?
We didn't discuss
got
this in the November meeting.
Okay,
That's when we discussed the other academic, what's it called?
the program.
The program.
Yeah. Okay, so it was the January 3rd meeting and then this meeting. So January 3rd and 8th.
And then we need to change the date of the actual recommendation to today.
Right. Okay. That's it. That's all the comments incorporated. That's all the discussion from last time it changed, and the changes for based on the Senate feedback that we were able to make. Right? I'm not forgetting anything. Looking to Sandy here to make sure I've got everything. Okay.
I think we're in good shape as long as everyone's had an opportunity to respond.
Okay. So everyone, this is your last read through. Do you want the full version, or is reading on screen like this okay?
To be clear, the only changes that were different than the version that's been posted since Friday are the ones we've just discussed.
Yeah, that's the only changes. The version that's up is the one with the changes made after the January 3rd meeting. On screen works. Thank you, Erin. Okay. So now, do we have to do it as a motion to vote on? Is this a formal vote?
Yeah, Francis, I would. I think
Okay.
I think it'd be appropriate. Then we'll vote in the chat.
Okay, so please, I would welcome a motion to approve this
I think
emergency
it's
guidelines,
it's the guidelines for the Springs 2024
emergency.
emergency.
So please feel free to, this is for voting members. You can put
Sorry,
it
I
in the
misstated.
chat
It's
if you,
winter 2024.
winter 2024. Oh, Erin, have you spotted something?
No, I move to accept
Awesome.
guidelines.
Thank you. Thank you, Erin. Erin moves. Do we have a second, please?
I second. This is Diana.
Diana, thank you. We're going to ask you to vote in the chat. Is that right?
Yeah, so voting members, if you could vote either yes or no in the chat.
And abstain? Is that an option?
You can abstain, yes.
Okay, so please vote in the chat. And are you saving the chat? You don't need me to.
No, yeah, Bettina and I will make sure we have it.
Thank you very much.
The motion carries.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for your careful reading and careful editing. And thank you, Julia, for those last minute additions. They were very useful and unneeded. So that's it, yes? Okay. There will presumably be there will be more emails coming out about more meetings, should they be needed, and we'll have our regular meetings if we have things to actually review as well.
And Francis, we'll put a clean copy that is just passed up on the Senate website as soon as we can.
Thank you very much for doing all of that posting and work. Do we have to have a scheduled meeting at the end of the declaration of an emergency to stand down? We do, don't we? We have to do a it's over vote or something.
In the continuity policy,
Yeah.
I believe
there was a stand
I
down.
believe that's correct.
I remember celebrating the one at the end of COVID. But yes.
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
that
Ron
is
and I
correct.
both, I
Okay.
think, found at the same time. So we'll make sure that's scheduled.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Please watch for emails for scheduling and be seeing you in Zoom.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna end the meeting, Bettina. Thanks.
Okay.